Good morning and welcome to the Ginger Sports Podcast. This week, Martin, Darragh and myself talk about England versus Colombia, Neymar's Oscar-nominated acting and VAR. This was originally only supposed to be a VAR podcast, but as it was recorded just after the England game on Tuesday evening, we couldn't not discuss England winning their first penalty shootout in World Cup history. If you are English, we give the team props. The team definitely deserve to be there, they definitely deserve to beat Colombia, but we do go quite hard on the paint on Glenn Hoddle and Clive Tilsley. Deservedly so. As much as I'm fine with them saying I'm fine with them wanting their team to win, but call the game neutrally. When Harry Kane runs into three players, falls over, do not then say he's been manhandled, he has not. When Harry Maguire dives blatantly and then gets up and wags his finger to try and get himself out of it, don't then give him credit for getting up and saying, oh no, it was a dive. He dived, he should have been booked, call that. But for the team have done really well. I'm happy for Gareth Southgate, he seems like the coolest man at the World Cup right now. Happy that he got his redemption from missing the losing penalty in Euro 96 to then come back to a major footballing tournament and win a penalty shootout. England coming back from being down in a penalty shootout is something remarkable in itself, and that game led us perfectly into the VAR debate, which I think's probably been the best half an hour of podcasting that we've done so far, just because we were really passionate on a controversial footballing issue. So if you enjoy this, please subscribe and please follow us on Facebook, Twitter and or Instagram. By the way, if you do listen to one bit of this podcast and you are thinking of turning it off early, go to around minute 40-ish or so and listen to Darragh and Martin trying to justify shot pulling. It's unbelievable, and yeah, let us know what you think. Please enjoy the podcast. Thanks for listening. No, not yet, but I will. Just so it gets going. It's ready.
Alright, cool.
So we were supposed to be talking about just VAR, but we're recording this on a Tuesday night, and England have just beaten Colombia on penalties. Were you able to watch it?
I saw the penalties, yeah. I actually saw the best parts of the game. I saw the equaliser for Colombia.
Yep.
So 90 whatever minute, and then the penalties as well. Just came back for that, and yeah.
It's the first time England have ever won a penalty shootout.
Is it?
In the World Cup. I don't know about the Euros or anything like that, but yeah, first time they've ever won a penalty shootout in the World Cup. Yeah. To be honest, they deserved it. I think they deserved it. I was trying to think of Jordan Pickford actually having to make a save, and he made one in the first half, and then I don't think he made a save until that great save in the last minute. That was it. Colombia were horrible.
Yeah, well, England to turn it around in the penalty shootout, to be behind and to come back, was surprising as well, considering their record and the fact that they did dominate the game and stuff. It was pressure on. So.
Yeah, Jordan Henderson would be the bloody one to miss a penalty, wouldn't he?
See when he stood up, as I was sitting in work, when he stood up, I said out loud, I was like, he's going to miss this. And I was like, because I was thinking about, I know it's a lot of it's to do with how you're feeling about it, but see if you watch him try to pass a ball, he's not anywhere close to Harry Kane or somebody. I don't understand why Jamie Vardy never took one.
Surprised Jamie Vardy didn't take one.
Yeah, Vardy's a good penalty taker.
I assume that's almost why you would have him on the pitch.
Or Lingard, but then I suppose maybe one of them was after, or maybe they were the fifth one or something. Oh no, sorry, that was the five. So
fifth was Eric Dyer. Eric Dyer. I thought that was a surprising one when he stepped up.
Yeah.
I wasn't overly confident in him, but
it wasn't even a very good penalty. It
wasn't a great penalty, but it counts.
Yeah, 100%. But we were having this conversation earlier. Martin really wanted Colombia to win.
Yeah,
Colombia to win.
I know. I don't know. Like even my mum like was messaging me and saying like she called like the Colombians dirty thugs. I was like, I don't think she meant it in that horrible way, but she was like, but she was right. They were kicking lumps out of them and diving around.
This is the second episode in a row where your mum's made it onto your podcast.
She makes comments about the World Cup. She's really into it. Like
to substitute you for her.
Phone her in, mate. Phone her in.
No, the Colombians were annoying. They were very dirty. I think
it was a tactic though. Like clearly they'd gone out to, because they know that they're all younger and a lot of them are hotheads. Like Sterling's not exactly the most calm individual.
No.
Dele Alli.
Dele Alli, another one.
Under his skin, he'll leave the boot in.
He was poor today.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you only caught the highlights there, but Dele Alli did nothing, and I mean literally nothing.
I don't rate him that highly. I know I'm an Arsenal fan and saying that, but I honestly don't like. I mean, he had a good season 2 seasons ago. Last season wasn't great, but he's overhyped.
Yeah, but the only thing from an England point of view is your replacement is Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who's had 2 chances at the World Cup and hasn't been very good. He came off the bench against Tunisia, changed the game, but in the 2 games that he started, he's been piss poor.
Yeah.
I mean, that's sort of your argument for keeping Jordan Henderson in the team as well. I don't rate Jordan Henderson too highly, but I certainly rate him ahead of Eric Dyer. I think Eric Dyer's so average. He slows the game down so much.
The Canadian pundits were making an argument today for putting Dyer in alongside Henderson and dropping Ali. And I was like, well, I mean, when are England actually going to take on a team though, you know? Setting up like in a World Cup like that, why are you setting up? Colombia are no great team as we saw, like, so why would they set up so defensive?
Well, they're certainly not going to need to do that against Sweden, because I also watched Sweden versus Switzerland today.
Yeah.
Serious contender for one of the worst games of football of all time.
I saw maybe 25 minutes of that and it was just all terrible. I saw the goal and I was like, that goal
summed up.
But yeah, the goal was deserved of that match.
They're 2 poor teams. Like, I don't know how Sweden have got. I know they've knocked out Holland, Italy, Germany. Like, I don't know how they've got there, but somehow they're.
It was a serious game of how the fuck are these 2 teams in knockout stages of the World Cup.
Yeah.
None of them. Sweden, it's the worst example of finishing I've seen in a game for a long time. They slashed at everything. Just composure was non-existent.
But Switzerland don't have a striker.
Switzerland don't. No, I mean Switzerland's
Zverevic's just really average.
Yeah.
Like he'd be playing in like League One probably if he was playing there.
It's amazing. It's just amazing the 2 sides of the draw. Like if you look at the quarterfinals now, it's what France, Uruguay, and who's the other one? Brazil, Belgium, and then on the other side is Croatia, Russia, England, Sweden.
Sweden.
Is football coming home?
Honestly, I'm shocked to see England get through having fallen behind the penalty shootout, and that made me think a little bit. Yeah, it could be coming home. Like,
took some balls. It was interesting to see Jordan Pickford after the game. He was interviewed and he was asked, like, did you do your homework and stuff? And he said, yeah, they properly studied, they properly prepared as though it was going to become a penalty shootout. Yeah. And he said 4 out of the 5 Colombians went the way they thought they would go. The only one who didn't was Falcao, and Falcao put it straight down the middle, but everyone else went the way that they'd studied.
Yeah, and he dived the right way every time.
He did, the standard of penalties was very good.
Yeah.
Especially, Harry Kane just never ceases to amaze me. Honestly, he had to wait.
The conviction for that penalty, like...
His penalties have been outstanding, his play's been outstanding. He had to wait about 5 minutes before he could actually hit that penalty, and that's a non-exaggerated 5 minutes. I think it was literally 5 minutes while the Colombians surrounded the referee, which I suppose we can get the referee.
It's shocking. That referee was absolutely shocking.
It was like a substitute teacher. They were all taking the piss out of him.
Like they were screaming at him. It was like the Ronaldo bit all over again, but like on a magnified scale, where they're just screaming in his face and saying like, You know, and he got decision after decision wrong. Like, so one time, you know, who was it that dived? Like, Harry Maguire dived, and you know, he did that finger wag, and the guy was, and they were like, "Oh yeah, that's fine." He's dived. He should get a yellow for that. He's tried to con you. It doesn't matter if he stands up and thinks, "I shouldn't have done that." Blah blah blah. You know, you don't ram your car into somebody and go, "Oh, sorry, mate." And you go, "No, that's fine. At least you're apologising." It doesn't work that way.
Not if you're Glenn Hoddle or Clive Towsley.
Yeah. Like, well, you were watching it on what, BBC?
I was watching it on ITV.
Sorry.
And yeah, we can swiftly moving on to this. I can 100% see why Scottish people don't want England to win any more games, because the commentary is beyond bias. It's almost like Rangers TV bias, which is some of my favourite commentary. It's funny. It's genuinely funny, but these guys take it a new level. They're not being sarcastic. I mean, that Harry Maguire thing, they were applauding him. They were basically applauding him for diving and then getting up and saying, "Oh no, don't worry, ref, it wasn't anything." Not a word was said that he should have been booked for simulation. It's one of the easiest calls of the day.
That would be the comment in Ireland as well. I think everyone just hates listening to English commentary, because it just seems, the punditry and everything just seems so biased. And so to talk about, if England have a bad game, it's about, like, they never mention the team that played well against them. It's always England messed up and this and that, like, and they just never give credit to another team, and very biased and just hard to listen to sometimes.
Well, yeah, exactly that. And for example, in one of the, I think it was it was either last minute of normal time or the last minute of extra time. I can't remember. My mind's gone. But Harry Kane took the ball, turned it, and just ran into three players and just got it taken off him fairly. He then fell over. No appeals from Harry Kane. He knew he'd made the wrong decision. Should have got his head up, passed the ball. But they then went on for the next 30 seconds about how he'd been manhandled. It wasn't even a significant moment in the game, but it's stuff like that. You're like, you're grating on me. I'm perfectly happy to be neutral. I actually thought England were the better team and deserved to go through, but it's that stuff that just builds up, and you're like, just it accumulates till you're shouting at your TV screen, going, "Glenn Hoddle, you're an absolute wanker."
Isn't it always the case though? Like, even before their own tournament, they start slaughtering their own players. Like, they just overhype them, build them up, and then absolutely abuse them when they make a mistake. And like, no one wants to be on that national team because of it.
No,
the pressure. Like, if you miss that penalty today, if Eric Dyer is the one that knocks them out today,
slaughtered,
absolutely slaughtered. Yeah.
And
only 2 weeks ago they were like, "Oh, you know, expectations are low this time." All of a sudden, England are like looking at, you know, getting to the final now. You know,
that song and dance is pretty funny. Like, one day before the tournament starts, it's like, we'll play down expectations. You know, it's a young squad. Just see how it goes. Take it
and
game
now
by
it's all
game.
that football coming home thing.
One game against Tunisia, and it's like football's coming home.
That's the thing that I can't get on board with. Like, we, at least like in Ireland to an extent, do it as well, where we just like are like, we're kind of shit. If we do reasonably well, like, you guys getting to the Euros was amazing. Like, that was such an awesome thing. Like, you know, but then you don't go into it thinking we're gonna go so far and stuff like that.
None of us thought we were getting out of the group. It's
exactly. So
get
whatever
a result or a goal or whatever.
So you're just happy to go into it. Like, you know, I'm just happy that we get to play qualifiers. You know what I mean? Like, you get to watch your team and stuff. But then England, because they're so used to it,
it's Premier League. And it's just like, oh, we've got the best players, best league in the world. That best league in the world.
That's not the best league in the world.
Pisses me off a lot, because the best teams aren't in that league. You know, like, the best teams are Real Madrid, Barca, the likes of them.
Yeah.
Now, they're probably not the best league, but like, the way they build up the English teams in the Champions League, how are we not getting further in the Champions League? For like the last couple of years, it's been a disgrace that they haven't got further and all this in the Champions League. But like, if you're the best teams in the best league, you get to the Champions League final and you win it.
Yeah, it was that period between 2007, 8 maybe, where like it was loads of English teams. So maybe 2012, 2013, where like all these English teams were like right in towards the end. That's what
it's an attitude though, like, as in, oh, see how he makes it in the Premier League. And then like, even on the commentary today I was listening to, it was like 2 players here that have a point to prove, Falcao and Cuadrado. because they didn't make it in England, so they're going out today to prove everyone wrong. It's like, I'm sure that's not what they're thinking.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, they do that. They say like, "Oh, we'll run it." All the English pundits, I don't know if you noticed this, all the English pundits far prefer Ronaldo to Messi, and the reason they prefer Ronaldo to Messi is because he played in England, and they all constantly say, "Do you think you could do it on a wet night and stuff like that?" It's like you're really just missing a complete point here. Like, they're both completely different players. One of them did pretty well in England and then buggered off because he could get more money elsewhere. Like, he left the best league in the world to go to another one, which is arguably better, you know?
Yeah. To bring it back to the
Sorry,
World Cup.
Can I make one comment on the commentators though? So, see the commentators, we get the bad end of the stick of this. I don't think there's another nation, I can't think of one, that has to listen to another nation's commentary during the World Cup or during the Euros. Like, they I don't know about like Scandinavia and all that, but if you go to France, it'll be French commentary. If you go to Germany, German commentary. Brazil, say, like, we are just have a problem where we have to listen to that. We don't have a Scottish guy.
We get the option. So we have Irish commentary and we have I can get ITV or BBC or whatever. There's one, Brian Kerr, Ireland's former manager.
Yeah.
He can't like pronounce any names or anything like this. So there's one lad.
He's like an Irish Ian Dowie.
Yeah, there's one lad that was playing for South Korea and he had like red hair and he just couldn't pronounce his name, so he called him Redzer.
That's the kind of unprofessional approach that I love. He would fit in well on this podcast.
Everyone getting behind it though.
That's the thing. I mean, like, that's why I think Ali McCoist has been the best commentator in the British commentary teams.
Yeah.
Because he's funny.
And it's good, like, having Stephen Caldwell here is a bit better because he does kind of bring that Christian Jack and everyone else down a wee peg, because he does give them the due that they need. But Christian Jack's just like, oh, England England, this team are so young, they're so talented, and he's just like, yeah, hold on, they can't defend. Like,
is it Craig Levein is on ESPN, I think, and he just gets so pissed off.
Craig Levein?
Yeah,
I would hope not.
Is it? So.
No, there's an old guy. You mean the Scottish guy with like
Scottish guy.
Yeah, he's like actually really old. I can't remember his name now.
I mean, ESPN have went downhill if Craig Levein's there.
No, it's not Craig. It's not Craig Levein. I don't think. I know who you mean.
I'm trying to think of the name, but whoever it is, he actually speaks some sense.
Yeah.
And the rest of them talk absolutely shite.
It's just Robbie
Earle.
Robbie Earle, and who's the other one?
No, this is
Townsend.
It's ESPN's. It's ESPN's show for the World Cup, I think. And it's some like Brazilian lad who just doesn't know anything about football.
No,
that's Craig Burley, you're thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like, everything's shite. Like, I don't understand why he said this. Why has he said that? Neymar, get up! Like, I know what you mean, because he does it throughout the whole of the Premier League season as well.
Yeah.
Oh, it's brilliant.
It's good to watch because you can see him getting pissed off when the other guy's talking. Like, he's like, you're talking so much shit and I can't say anything.
And there's the Mexican guy as well who played in the Mexican league, and he's another one who's like, he's all about England are amazing and Mexico are amazing and everything else is like just so great, and if he's like, no, that's absolutely shit, this is horrible.
Right. So bringing it back, taking out that, if you don't need to watch it on English commentary, and you don't visit Twitter too often, are you neutral for England games, or do you just genuinely not want England to win?
I kind of want Darragh to answer why he's such a big England fan.
Well, I'm such a big England fan because I like pissing other people off pretty much. Today I was purely winding Gordon up. I mean, I honestly wanted England to get through because I think it keeps it more interesting but to be honest, I don't want them to lift it. Like, I think if they get to the final, I'd be chuffed and lost. Yeah, I'd love that. Like,
that'd be even better, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but like the lads back home I was driving them mad to change the symbol in the WhatsApp group to the England flag, and I got kicked pretty quickly. So, but it's purely just for winding people up. I mean, I do follow English football, like, and I do like. I know there's not many Arsenal players on it now, but I did used to like watching like the Arsenal players playing for England and stuff.
Yeah. Well written for David Ospina, no?
No, hate the guy. Absolutely hate the guy.
He's terrible for penalties, by the way. I was amazed he saved that one. It's just because Jordan Henderson's pretty shit at taking penalties. He's so small.
He's not an intimidating keeper, is he?
Yeah, he's so like even I know he's I think he's like 6 foot or something like that.
Yeah, he's about that. But like compare him to Manuel Neuer or something.
Oh
like,
yeah, like
it's totally different if you're facing 6'6" and you're facing 6 foot.
yeah. Well, look at what is it like the best goalkeeper for penalties? I think it's Handanovic for Inter Milan has like the highest rate. I think he's saved more than he's let in or something. But he's 6'7", 6'8". Like if you're diving and you're that's you're getting an extra like 7-8 inches.
But
on
it gets
it
into your head though. If you look at the keeper and you say, right, I've that much of a gap now. He's so big. Like you have to go like Harry Kane does and go right for the corner.
Yeah,
and
hard.
him.
Yeah.
But unless you're that kind of caliber of player, it's quite easy to get that wrong. Like,
Sorry.
No.
VAR plus everything else.
I mean, if we're being honest, we were never going to get an hour out of VAR.
No.
Like, we'll just, controversial things that have happened in the World Cup so far. We talk about Neymar's diving.
Can't stand the guy. Like, as much as I think, I saw him do a pivot turn in the halfway line yesterday, and I was like, he's so good, but he just annoys me so much. I'll never give him credit for it. Like, he's so selfish. And even they were saying yesterday, like, just for the second goal, that it was a pass. I was like, no, it wasn't. He shot, and it hit the keeper's foot and went to Firmino. Like, he misses that, and they go down the other end and get a goal. And he's a selfish player, self-indulged player, and I just can't stand him.
Yeah, he seems to both help the sport and hinder it at the same time. Especially, I assume, by the awarding of the World Cup to North America, they really, really, really want to grow the sport here. But if you guys speak to people over here, they all say it's basically a sissy sport because they see the diving and the rolling.
Yeah, that's
and
the big comment. It's people like him that do that.
Exactly. I mean, they don't watch football regularly, but
so
something like that makes massive news over here. His rolling about, it gets
yesterday
it
was so embarrassing. Like, you think like an NFL footballer or whatever gets absolutely smashed and like concussed, and then he gets like slightly trod on and he's rolling around as if he's been shot.
Well, I mean, the main sport here, obviously ice hockey. They're men. They're real men.
They have very few teeth as well, which shows how ridiculous that sport is.
Yeah, exactly. So for them to be watching hockey and then to switch over and see Neymar get slightly trodden on, if that, and then doing 5 or 6 rolls down the touchline, they're just not going to gravitate towards that because it's barely in the same. It's not even in the same category of sport.
Well, imagine him playing in like the 60s and 70s in England, like, or playing against like Graham Souness or.
So you get a leg
Ron
breaking
Chopper
tackle.
Harris.
Yeah,
you get a leg breaking tackle.
Oh, he'd get kicked the shit out of him. Like, that's the problem.
Yeah, if he was playing the same era as Maradona.
Yeah.
These guys had to learn to take kicks.
That Costa Rican game really pissed me off. Like the way he was all game, he was getting fouled, right, and he rolling around. They needed a goal. Then in the last 10 minutes, they needed a goal, and he's
straight back up,
absolutely minced out of it.
Yeah,
and he's straight back up. Yeah, and then they get the goal. He's over in the corner and he does a rainbow flick over someone's head.
Yeah,
I'm like, I'd love to smash him up for that. Like, imagine being a professional defender though, and you're trying to get a goal to keep your country in the World Cup, and this guy's doing a rainbow flick over your head in the corner.
It was pretty good though. I love the rainbow flick.
This is the thing, right? It's the arrogance of him. Like, he's so talented that he can do that. I'd love him to do it in the 70th minute and beat someone.
Your problem was he's instead of doing it at 0-0, he's doing it at 1-0 up.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's doing it when he knows he's very good when he's got the backing. Like, I can't imagine him being in a team that's like, so you can imagine Ronaldo and Messi bringing a team up from being shit to being way better than they actually are because they're just that good. Whereas he's just a flair player. That's all he is. Like, he's alright, he scores goals and all that stuff, but he's not the kind of player that's going to make, like, the fact that we've talked about Brazil the other day, how good the Brazil team is, but he's not. If he was out of that team, they're just missing a left winger. They could put Douglas Costa out there or something, and he'd probably just be more industrious, just with a little less kind of star power.
Yeah.
He's not. Yeah.
You not having him as a third best player in the world.
No, he probably is. On his day he is, but it's one of these ones where I just can't see why. I can't see why everyone's going absolutely mad for him, and
like he'd be a better player if he cut all that shit out.
Yeah,
like if he just used his talent.
If he worked more, like that's look at Berbatov. Like, guy was loaded with just he was just amazing. But like people don't see him as one of the best players ever because he just couldn't be his attitude. Yeah, he just couldn't be arsed.
But as well, if you're a teammate of Neymar, do you like that guy on your team? Like he might win you a World Cup, but I don't like him.
Maybe, I think we were talking about this last episode. Neymar's the front guy, so if anything goes wrong for Brazil, it's on his shoulders. Yeah. He's the one that has to sort of stand up and be counted. If Brazil go out and he doesn't perform, it's not going to matter what Pullilng did.
But do you think it is though? Because look at like Messi for Argentina. It was not Messi's fault. Everyone else was shite. Look at Portugal's. It wasn't even Ronaldo's fault. I think that's the problem with star players. It's never their fault. It's always somebody else's fault. It's the team's fault.
Messi will get the blame. 100%. Messi has never won anything with Argentina.
People will look back on Messi and say, "Oh, he was an amazing player, but he never did anything internationally," and that's like the killer for him.
But then, yeah, okay, fair point. But I would look back on it and think, well, maybe it wasn't his fault. Like, he could do it with Barca because he had the backing, but he couldn't.
I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm totally behind Messi.
Yeah.
I think it's ridiculous. Like they have so much talent and they're a terrible team, like Argentina, really. So
yeah, they
it's the same with Brazil. But I would say that with Brazil, Messi did all he could for that team. I don't know if Neymar is doing all he could for the team. He's doing all he can for himself.
Yeah, but like, look at Brazil 2014 though as well. Like they got absolutely pumped and he wasn't in the team, so they were like, okay, you know.
That was a mental effect as well.
Yeah.
He got injured, and I don't think they believed that they could win without him.
Yeah,
he's so important to the team. I think you were saying this last week. He's less important to the team
this time.
So
which is why they're a better team. So
Coutinho,
they're not as reliant on him. That's the thing.
They've come on so much in 4 years, though.
Yeah. Well, it's such a better team. Like
the fact that like you just said it there, on his day, he's the third best player in the world, and having that in your team is a mental thing. That at any point he could beat 3 players and put it in the top corner. Having that is massive. So I still think
it'll be like watching that game on Saturday. Is it Saturday or Friday? That game on Friday is going to be absolutely amazing because it's I think it's the 2 best teams from what they've done. The 2 best teams of the tournament are basically going for the right to probably play
France.
Well, no, because France are in the same one, so they're in the other semi, right?
France and Uruguay.
We're going to play France, and then whoever wins out of that, I think that side will win it. Whoever wins out of them, the winner of that in France.
You could certainly make that argument that they've been the best 2 teams.
Attacking wise,
But I still think how can you attacking wise, but look at the teams they come up against. Like Belgium, for example, have come up against Panama, Tunisia, England B team, and they nearly blew it against Japan. So how we don't actually know how good they are yet.
Yeah.
They turned it around, but they weren't convincing. Like defensively, they're supposed to be good.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, well, it's because they've got 2 wingers playing as fullbacks. It's just like why?
Yeah,
Carrasco is really terrible with defending.
He really did. I know. I'm still having. I think actually Belgium could beat Brazil.
They could both beat each other. See on the day,
Darragh said,
they could both absolutely hump each other.
I'm saying Belgium are class, but I'm not saying they're class because of what they've done in this tournament yet. Yeah. That's the problem.
Yes, I mean you can almost level that accusation at any team in the tournament. Well, the groups are generally so poor, you can't say they've really beat many people. I mean,
Brazil impressed yesterday purely because they were efficient in what they did, and that's what you need to win a tournament. Like you don't need to have beat Mexico 5-0 yesterday and everyone get behind you and football's coming home and all this crap.
Whether it's in Portuguese.
You don't think there's Portuguese people singing football's coming home? No, I know what you mean though. That was efficient. It was an efficient win against Mexico, who are a tough team. They've given a lot of people problems, and they dispatched them really professionally in a way that I was going to say England almost managed that. If England hadn't conceded that stupid goal with Kieran Trippier, I don't know what Kieran Trippier was doing. He said he misjudged where the guy was going to header it. He thought he was heading it higher than he did, and he jumped too early and couldn't reposition himself. But it
came off the top of his forehead and into the.
Pickford could have had it as well. Probably
he would have saved it. It was terrible. It was a terrible way to concede a goal.
But if they hadn't conceded that, you would have said England have done a thoroughly professional job.
The problem is that they did, and they always do. That
But they were lucky though. Like Kyle Walker fucked up at one point and got away with it because Darragh blasted it over, and John Stones fucked up as well at one point and did a ridiculous pass, and luckily that broke down. But like they're still making these errors. And
Defensively, I don't think.
Harry Maguire looked really good actually. Like he looked the best out of the back three.
I've been saying he's the weak link for a while now.
Yeah.
But he did play well. He did play well today.
Yeah. He didn't need to be mobile though. That was the thing. He just see in the last maybe 10-15 minutes of the extra time, they were humping it forward, and every single time you just saw this blur of a man just running and just melting the ball back
because
off
his head is the size of a mini fridge. he seems that like their tactic is clearly, especially attacking set pieces. He comes round the back post every time and like wins the header. I don't think I've seen him lose one at the back post. Well, he just nods it across and someone tries to get on, pick up the second ball. But it's.
I've been very impressed by him. He's still not very mobile. That's his only big downfall. He's not particularly. If they come up against somebody who's rapid, like really rapid, I know because Warwado was on the other side most of the time. If they come up against somebody extremely rapid, I think he'll be found out.
From the 5 minutes I saw, it seemed like Pickford deserved some credit today because he messed up in the last game going with his wrong hand, saved that Januzaj shot, and then to pick that out of the top corner in the last 2 minutes, unbelievable save, and then the penalty save was a great save as well. So
Pickford was good. Pickford was good. His distribution was really good. I just think England need to play a bit quicker, and one of the centre halves has to be braver. When you're playing a 3-5-2, especially when there's only really one attacker pressing you, you need to be braver and drive into the midfield to create space, because it looked like John Stones looked as though he was getting frustrated, Kyle Walker was getting frustrated about a lack of movement in front of them, but they almost need to create that. They need to drive forward. In the few occasions that John Stones actually did do it, he got a lot of success, which is why Gareth said, a lot of people give John Stones stick, say that he's shite. He's definitely not shite. He's definitely in that team for a reason, because he's one of the only ones that can actually come out with football, which not a lot. Which I don't think Harry Maguire's particularly good at. I don't think that's the reason Gary Cahill isn't in the team. I don't think he's particularly good at it either. John Stones.
I think Walker in that position will make mistakes though, as well.
Walker, he will against someone that's top quality. Like if they play Belgium in the final, say they get the final and they play Belgium, Lukaku, you would have to think
peel off the shoulder. Yeah,
I would think so, to peel on to Kyle Walker.
But he's going to be up in that position. He'd be up against, if they played Belgium, he'd be up against Hazard, and that's the guy that you'd want. That's the guy you'd want against Hazard, because you need to have somebody rapid on him.
Yeah.
Because if I was the Hazard, I would just go, "Hi, Harry Maguire. I'm going to stand right next to you this entire time. Well, just go get the ball and then bugger off past you."
Well, I mean, they've got Mertens over that side.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just briefly on Hazard, that turn yesterday for that goal, the Fellaini equaliser. Yeah. Just to look like he was going on the right foot and then just drop the shoulder and go with his weak foot and put it on his head,
that's the quality that man has, and if he was more consistent, for me, he would be the third best player in the world. Yep. He should be talent wise. I think he's the most.
Yeah, I'd have him as the fourth. On his day, I'd have him as the fourth best.
He's the person I love watching in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I think he's the most talented player in the Premier League. He just doesn't do it often enough.
The reason I like him more than Neymar is he gets up when he gets fouled.
Yeah.
He doesn't roll around like Neymar was yesterday.
Yeah, and he kicks ball boys as well.
He does.
Got to remember that. Yeah.
That's a good quality to have. Yeah.
Positive point. Yeah. So leading in to VAR. Did any see the VAR today?
I didn't see the penalty today. So.
For the penalty?
No, for the what was it? The headbutt.
Oh yeah, come on, this, and it was total English media going mad. I get it, but then you got to remember that Jordan Henderson did it later on, where the guy's got his forehead on the back of Jordan Henderson's head, and he goes like that, and there was no VAR. I'm just like
100%. He shouldn't have done it.
Why?
There was one that should have. I didn't see much today, but there was one that should have gone to VAR. I thought was where I can't remember who it was now, but he kicked across Falcao's face with his studs.
Oh,
Stones raked his.
Stones, yeah, it was very lucky.
He made contact. I mean, he didn't necessarily stamp on him or anything, but he did make contact.
It's one of those though that's really hard to prove intent.
But he totally meant it though, because what happened was because he was down on the ground.
You can't prove it.
I know, but in my mind, my personal opinion is he meant it because basically Falcao's on the ground and he's holding John Stones' leg, and John Stones, you can see him get pissed off after a couple of seconds of it, and so he rakes his foot out, and then he kind of leaves it. He kind of leaves it close to his head, so at least he makes some form of contact with him to let him know.
I believe that he did mean it, but I couldn't prove it.
But this is what about VAR, like that goes to VAR. I think it should have, first of all.
Yeah.
But if it does, then I'm saying that's probably a red card, but you're probably saying not. So
yeah,
I'm just saying so the whole thing about VAR is the referee has to have made a clear mistake or clearly missed it. So this Barrios red card, yellow card is like a prime example of VAR or VAR being shit, because I would say that is a stonewall red card. You cannot try and headbutt someone in the pitch. Like
But you can argue but where he's not. That's the thing. It's not. To me, it's not full. It's not like him. It's not like a.
I mean, it doesn't.
It's not like a here's Zidane and here's Materazzi. Is that or is that not a headbutt?
We're talking degrees of headbutt.
Yeah. You're talking like
you can't even.
I don't think you can go there.
You can't go. It's an obvious headbutt. He
hits him in the pec and then hits him
goes
hits him in the chin.
That has to be violent conduct. There's no.
Yeah.
I think it goes. Yeah, you have to go for that.
Yeah, you have to. And then not only that, it was the VAR referee that made the decision. It wasn't referred to the referee to then go and jog over and have a look at it.
But they've said they say they check every single goal so far in the group stages. They said they checked, I think it was 120 goals. They checked every single one of them. Now, do we not hear, we don't hear about every check then, obviously? Even if it's like a curler from outside the box, we're not obviously. But what are they checking for? They're checking for offsides or interference or.
Yeah, I mean, there's 4 of them sitting in a room somewhere, so I suppose they need to justify their job.
I don't know. I think it seems a bit weird. Like everything's been checked, but still, it takes so long to make a decision.
So yeah, that was it, right? So that VAR decision took. I'm sure I was looking at it, and it took roughly 3.5-4 minutes to sort out. Conceivably, this could happen 3 or 4 times a game.
Yeah.
And then you've got an extra 10-15 minutes.
So today, I thought there was only 5 minutes added on at the end.
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
So was this the second half and?
First half.
So how many?
First half there was 4 minutes added on.
But surely there was other things that stopped the game in the first half.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, straight off the bat, what was that? 10 minutes.
Yeah.
10 minutes of injury time. We're a ball hit away from baseball here.
Yeah. It used to be like traditionally it was 1 to 2 minutes after the first half, and usually about 4 at the second half. That's always the way games were. But you're definitely looking now. I've seen the average is probably around 6 to 7 minutes.
Yeah,
that's the stat I saw just there. Like it's gone up from an average between 4 to 5 minutes to now over 7. You're like, well, that's because of that.
Yeah.
So we should clarify this. The official FIFA line I've got here is VAR only intervenes in the course of a match when the officials have made a clear and obvious error in one of the 4 key areas: goals, penalties, straight red cards, or mistaken identity. So I don't even know where to start with. Pierluigi Collina came out and he was like, the success rate of correct decisions across the World Cup is before VAR it was 93% of decisions that are correct. With VAR it's 99%. Now I like Pierluigi Collina as much as the next guy who grew up in the sort of 90s, early 2000s, but he's whipped that stat straight out his arse.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
he's also the head of referees for FIFA, I believe, or
Exactly.
UEFA, or one of the two.
Exactly.
So
So
they're not going to say this is shite.
I know, but I mean, is no one questioning that? I mean, I understand he's probably got some presentation in front of a bunch of investors who have put forth the money for VAR, and thus he has to quantify stuff. But is no one questioning that?
But it's FIFA all over. Like I tried to look up stuff for this to find out other stuff outside that, and that's all I could get as well. It was 99.3% or something accuracy now. It was like 93 before, and it's justifying how many decisions they've made and all this stuff. But it's still like doesn't break down decisions they make that are wrong or controversial.
Well, I mean, so stuff like that today, where the Colombia player's got a yellow card for what I believe is a clear head, but it's been referred to VAR. Is PLG clean accounting that as a wrong decision?
It's been nice, but they'll just go off their rule book. This is the problem with referees.
I mean, the rule book is it's a headbutt if it's below. I think Clattenburg was on ITV at halftime and he was saying rule book it's a red card. So is that a wrong decision?
Yeah.
Does that?
But do you want that? Do you want every time there's a ball to hand situation in the box now to be given more often now as a penalty than it was?
No,
I think in the Premier League it used to be like
it's far too, so one of the reasons I think that, and I don't know, I haven't looked back to check on it, I didn't have time, but one of the reasons that there's been so many upsets because there's been so many fucking penalties in this World Cup, and I hate. I don't know what everyone else thinks, but I fucking hate penalties. Can't stand them. Like they're just annoying. Like,
unless they're for your team.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If Scotland, give Scotland 5 a game, I don't care. Like,
Why do you hate penalties?
I just fucking hate them because it's then it takes away any game that has a penalty in it. It generally changes that game completely, and I don't like that fact. I like my football to be flowing. Like I like it, and I hate. This is another reason I hate VAR. Like I'll talk to you about that, but you know, it just completely stops the game that I love, which is like it's end. You know, it stops that end to endness. It then forces a team to rethink what they're doing.
That's a total argument against it. The power of momentum in football.
Yeah, one goal fucking changes everything. It's not like the NBA where you get a few free throws and that's it.
Specifically for VAR, if your team has momentum, if you're like we saw the first half of extra time, Colombia versus England, Colombia had the momentum from the previous goal. Now say 5 minutes in to the second half of extra time and something gets called for VAR. That's 4 minutes they're standing around. That momentum's gone. It's
gone, and they can take on instruction from the ref, and people would argue maybe that makes it more exciting, but it's total bullshit.
But this is the thing. Like, I think you're saying you're increasing the chance of an upset if you can get a soft penalty. So now any team can sit back for 89 minutes and then pump the ball into the box. It deflects off someone's hand when they're jumping.
Yep.
Like I thought PK's wasn't a handball. I actually personally thought it wasn't because he was jumping, and if you can't put your hands up to jump,
you're jumping like a fucking salmon.
Like exactly. So that's given against him, and it's totally changed. So you can be the best team. You can batter a team for 89 minutes, and you can lose a game. That to me isn't an upset. That isn't like a satisfactory upset where the team nick a goal and fair play to them for defending properly. They're getting a dodgy penalty to win the game because of VAR.
Yeah, and the problem with this whole thing as well is that you get these teams, they're basically just looking for that. That's all they're looking for. They're constantly like, it'll hit anywhere in their chest and they'll start doing that stupid box thing, and you're like, fuck off.
Stop that.
And then they stop and everything, and then you're just like, come on.
But the play action now, if I get brushed now, like if I'm a player and someone brushes me with an elbow when they're jumping,
you just fall over.
You just jump around them, and then you get someone sent off, and your country's going to the next stage of the World Cup.
Yeah.
And you're a diver, but you still get your team there. Like.
But at the same time, would you not say it's cut out a lot of shot pulling? I mean,
no, it's totally not. Look at that one on Harry Kane today. Like, if it's supposed to deter you to do this shit, it's not doing it at all.
But it will. It will. I mean, it's not been implemented fully across Europe's top leagues yet.
But if you're in the World Cup, like every time this happens now, like every time anyone tackles anyone in the box, I just think you're an absolute idiot. Like if you get that a fraction of a thing wrong, it doesn't matter if the ref doesn't see it. There's no guile in it now. There's no ability to there's no one's able to like launch themselves in and make a amazing tackle. Because if you try it, and fuck it.
I mean, that's always been the case though. If you try, it just means your success. I mean, if you make a bad tackle, you should be penalised for it. If you're a lazy defender and you are pulling someone short at a corner, you should be penalised for it.
But they never catch them.
Then
They should catch them because it's really, really annoying. I see it all the time with defenders where they're pulling shots. And like Colombia were terrible for it, Panama were terrible for it against England, and they got rightly penalised.
But do you want to take contact out of the game? Like,
that's not contact. That's being lazy. That's me pulling on your shirt and properly obstructing you. I'm the last person that wants to take.
Do you know what this is though?
It's winding him up.
This is a guy who was a shitload better at football than we'll ever be.
I know.
Who knows about the fact that, because I still do that to this day. If someone is way quicker than me, I will fucking pull their shirt.
Yeah, and you should
stop them going. But why? But like, it's
part
of the game. It's part of the game. It's part of the game. I have to use all the things to my. I can't. And now what you're doing is you're basically saying that you're giving the attackers the impetus. You're saying that you want the attackers.
No,
it's the same way they look after every time a fucking goalkeeper gets his neck blown on by a guy that's jumping past him, he falls over.
It's not the same.
Too protected.
It's not the same.
I think it becomes too protected. I think, like, if you're standing there, your hands are down at a corner, you're waiting for the ball to come in at pace, and your hands are busy by your side because you can't be pulling someone, like.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
What is this?
Because you can't. Because first of all, you can't have your fucking hands up in the air. Because what if the ball hits that? Yeah. Okay, not a natural position. How the fuck do you know what a natural position is?
Tape them behind your back and
listen,
attack the ball.
If I could fucking do it, if I could throw all my limbs in the air to get a foot higher, I would fucking do
starfish.
That. Yeah, like I would do that. Like, you know, I will do whatever it takes to do that.
It's lazy defending. If you are good enough, you will attack the ball and you will win the ball. It shouldn't.
Like, I just think though, if you're like a good attacker against me and like you're so fast, some of them are so fast, they just go. You just have a little grab. There's a little like, and naturally you reach your hand out to stop them from getting away from you.
Yeah, so, like we're coming at it from different perspectives. Yeah, because think about it. Like, look, you are a way better footballer than us, and I wouldn't think twice about if you were fucking off away from me with the ball. I would not think twice about trying to kick the back of your heel or grab because think about it. It brings it then it tries to, it's any way to try and level the situation without fucking like trying to snap your leg or something. You know, like there's way worse shit than that in football.
I'm a small guy. If I'm defending a corner and I'm up against a bigger guy, I need some sort of advantage.
Your arm's got to go up or something. Like you've got to do something. Like look at fucking Ramos. Ramos jumps with fucking elbows in the air. Like
I'd find it hard to aggressively attack the ball if I couldn't like lift my arms up confidently.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And if you're about to jump before me, you're taller than me. Of course, I'm gonna fucking like grab your wrist and fucking drag you down. Of course, I'm gonna do that.
But should you not be penalised for that?
If the ref sees it, yes. But if not, then it's the guile of the game. You've got away with it.
The guile of the game.
Going back to the argument of VAR, though, you take all of that completely out of the game, and I don't know if I want to see that. I don't know if I want to see a centre half being a big pussy now and not being able to do anything like.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you mean, kinda.
I
think you're wrong about shirt pulling because I just think it's so lazy and it's it annoys me. It annoys me so much because I'm like, you don't need to do that. If you're a good enough defender, you don't have to do that.
Well, I'm not. That's why I fucking do it.
Exactly.
Right, but take away for the situation. You guys aren't at the World Cup. These guys are getting paid a lot of money to be good at their job. Be better at your job. You don't need to do that. And I'm glad.
But the point, going back to that, or previous point, is that like, yeah, they're really good players. But then if you're up against a Harry Kane and you're a Japanese centre half, you're not as good as him.
Well, so I would argue someone like Yoshida should be good enough in the air against Harry Kane.
Right, imagine you're playing for Scotland and you're the centre back in the World Cup and you're against fucking Lukaku, right? Who's hell of a lot bigger than you, hell of a lot stronger. Are you just going to jump in the air and hope that you get the ball before him? Or is he going to come in ramming into you and knock the fuck out of you?
The idea is I'm not going to be standing still, just jumping up with my arms by my side. You need to attack the football.
If you both attacked a football at the same time, Romelu Lukaku, he's going to win that 10 times out of 10 against you. I'm sorry, mate. But he is a big
Look,
fucking
man.
bastard.
You need to,
In Football Manager 2012, I had 19 heading.
Exactly, he's got like fucking 85 or something. Like
you need to get that extra yard in him, and that's how you do it.
Yeah, I mean, but that's smart. That's about reading the game. That is a skill.
Well,
It's an attribute. You need
if you're
to
a top
read the
centre
game.
half, you do get that extra yard. But if you're someone in the World Cup who's matching up against a top team, you need that extra yard.
Yeah.
But taking whatever chance you can. Like,
Well,
you're literally like I
agree to disagree.
yeah. We agree to disagree here.
fuck yous.
I think me and Darragh make a good
Penalties are
point.
good.
Yeah.
I use are just dirty cheating bastards that are trying to justify it.
That's why I have a dodgy foot right now, because I was cheating.
Aye.
Right.
But I mean, like, so I'm not against it. I'm skeptical of VAR in other aspects. The time it takes, obviously. For me, I think it's going to have referees wanting to check it for anything, and that's going to be an issue. I think they're going to have a lack of faith in their own decision making, and they're going to want it. So any decision that might be 50-50, they're going to just want to double check VAR, which is going to add more time onto the game.
Yeah.
And it almost becomes not pointless having a referee.
Takes their confidence away.
Well, yeah, because they've now
decision.
got this crutch, and you're asking them not to use it when they know how much stick they get if they get a decision wrong. They're always going to want to use the crutch.
But I think I was saying to you, like, imagine you're the referee and the game's going on, and I've seen it happen a few times now where the game has gone on 30-40 seconds and then he gets something in his ear and he blows the whistle. And so if you're the ref and you think you're a top class ref and you've conviction in what you're doing, and then you get this call in your ear saying, come over and look, you're jogging over there, you're thinking, what did I miss? What did I do wrong here? And straight away in your psyche that you're going to look at it on the other side and go, oh, maybe he actually did pull him back, or maybe he did like trip him or handle it or whatever. And I think it's going to take away like the confidence of the referee, and it will become a crutch where they start relying on this. You know, I don't want to make the wrong decision here. I don't want to be the one that's going against the whole VAR system.
If they're not sure, they should do. I mean, look at any of the North American sports. They must have looked at them like backwards and forwards, trying to figure out what's the best way. Because a lot of them, I'm taking like ice hockey, where they stop the game and say, we're going to check this, and we're going to check this very quickly. And then the other, I know we can talk about this, but the other big thing that I have a problem with is they don't fucking tell you what it's for. Like, they'll come on in ice hockey and NFL, basketball. They've got the wee microphone. They'll walk back up and they'll say, "Listen, here's what happened. Here's my decision. Here's what we're going to do." And they don't do that. They just make that stupid box and then they point or they make a hand signal.
100%. You should be able to hear the conversation between the referee, the VAR ref, and the referee.
Do you know which sport is very similar to VAR? The basketball. So in basketball, they call them over to the little screen on the side. But I often you don't know why they're making a decision.
Do they not shout it about it?
They do, but they don't like.
Oh, they do like the hand, like a technical tee.
Yeah, there's a lot of inconsistency in what they check.
Yeah.
And I don't know who calls them over to have a look at these things either. You know.
Yeah.
I think it's
someone in the rear. The same.
It must be, but it seems similar to, and I think it's the weakest one I've seen, because I think the strongest is probably rugby. I think rugby.
Yeah, rugby's very good. Yeah.
But they've had that around for a long time.
And it's a much slower sport.
It is
as well.
The NFL's pretty good for it as well.
Again, a slow
sport.
Yeah,
which is a lot of start-stop. Then that gets us to the problem where even ice hockey's way more start-stop than football. Yep. It should be a flowing sport. It shouldn't be... You know, like what you were talking about them getting a wee call like halfway down. There was one game where the team was attacking. I don't even know who it was. I can't remember now. But like the team was attacking and he blows them back and it's like 3-on-2.
I think I saw the same game. Yeah,
blows it back and you're like, what was the point in that? And then they go, oh yeah, it was actually a penalty. And I'm like, well,
it was Australia against France, wasn't it?
Yes, that, and Australia were attacking down the end. Yeah. And then they bring it back and it's a penalty. And you're like, that could have been just make your decision and let us get on with our lives. And you know, we can argue about it after the game, and that's what makes it so interesting, because you have these things that you can argue with somebody over a pint.
Sorry, it was Denmark, Australia, Denmark.
Yeah, but I totally agree with your first point. You should be able to hear some sort of line of communication, especially for the people in the stadium, because it's alright, everyone at home, we've got commentators that we can hear, but if you're in the stadium, 4 or 5 minutes has just went past and you know nothing. You're not any the wiser, and they don't want to inform you with that. I've never understood the fear that comes with letting referees explain their own decisions. I feel that a lot more respect would be given for them, because I mean, no one's expecting the referee to get 100 out of 100 decisions right. They're just not. They're human. They're going to make mistakes. But if they could then explain that decision from their point of view and say, from my viewpoint, I thought there was contact between, I don't know, Harry Kane and some Colombian defender. He cut across him. I thought there was contact. I haven't looked at it back. There wasn't. You would have much more respect for the referee. I don't know. I've always liked again, like the way rugby does it, where you can hear the conversations, and there's so much more respect for the referees, even from the players, because the players know the referee's mic'd up, and they know that anything they say is going to be heard on TV. And so if they come across looking like an arsehole, they're gonna hear about it.
But I don't think the problem that football has against rugby, it's like it's just a well-known thing in rugby. Like if you talk back to the ref, you're gone. Like you're literally your sin bin. You're off the park. If they started doing a sin bin system, that would probably
stop. This is about the system being established. Like we're talking about rugby, and I think rugby is the best. But imagine rugby when it first came in. I don't know when it first came in, but like the first couple of times
you have to start somewhere.
Yeah, and if players start getting in trouble for giving out to refs or doing that stupid box symbol for the TV, and they start getting banned for it, they'll stop it. And eventually, like you could see in 4 or 5 years' time, that the referees have a lot of respect.
Yeah, I mean, you need to. It's one of those things we know they need to start it, because I mean, England-Colombia was an absolute shambles of a football match. Harry Kane had to wait 4 or 5 minutes to take that penalty, and that wasn't even getting referred to VAR. That was just the Colombian players surrounding the referee, and you're like, why do you not just start booking
did they get
all?
Booked? Did any of them get booked?
Yeah, I think one or two of them got booked. Falcao got booked.
Henderson might have got booked.
And Falcao got booked eventually, but Falcao was going mental for a good minute. Like that,
just up in his face.
Or back to the Ronaldo one where there's a picture of him where he's literally like forehead to forehead screaming at him nothing.
You can't allow that. There's no respect.
It's ridiculous.
They don't have any respect.
You do that in rugby, you're
you'd probably be banned for about 10 games for that nonsense. Like,
quite rightly.
Yeah.
But
like they'll punch each other, but that's about it.
So another point against VAR.
Can we do any for? No.
We have a few positives.
So, I'll come to the positives in there. So another one against VAR, I'm like, where is it going to stop? Is it going to be a gateway to them wanting to review everything? For example, in the Sweden versus Switzerland game today, they gave a throw-in to Switzerland when it clearly should have been to Sweden. This was the last minute of the game. Switzerland were 1-0 down, need a goal. They could have scored right after that corner. Yeah. And that throw-in's basically decided the game. Is stuff like that going to start to get reviewed? Because I mean,
don't want to see that.
But it's the same thing. Like, no American wants to give up any gun ever, because they're like, once they start taking my machine guns, they're going to take my rifles, they're going to take my pistols. Yeah. Like, if VAR comes in and they've decided this is at the moment what we want to review.
That was a quite cool analogy, but a bit left field, but carry on.
It's the first one that pops into my head. I'm like, no American wants to give up any of their guns. Like, I've got a bazooka in the shed, and it is my right as an American to have it.
You can't take my tank.
But I don't want the sport to be perfect though. I don't want like every single throw in to be perfect. Every single corner, did it cross the line or not? That's going to VAR. Like, I don't care if they get a corner every now and then, And I prefer it. I'd hate to see VAR take all of the discussion about football out of it. I love sometimes when it's an offside decision, and especially when it goes for your team, and it's like, you're talking about something. They're saying, "Oh, it was a yard off. Oh, I thought he was on." Like, I don't want to see that go out of the game.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. That's half the fun. And that sentence there, I don't want the game to be perfect. We should maybe stop looking for that. They do, because a perfect game is something like baseball, and it's boring as shit.
Yeah.
Like NFL, where it's just so stop. There's just there's only ever excitement when it's like a building excitement. It's not like a snap.
I get what you said about the throw-in and Sweden, or Switzerland could have gone on to score. I get that, but more often than not they don't, and then you're stopping the game every 30 seconds for
Just to
Yeah,
check.
no, exactly. I mean, that was my point. I'm not for it. I'm just saying, if we are using VAR for key decisions, it could be argued, or I could see it being argued, that throw-in was a key decision in the hypothetical situation that Switzerland got the ball and scored.
Yeah.
Because it was in the last minute. It was clearly the wrong decision, and it massively influenced the game.
Yeah, but I think it needs to stick to the 3 that they're looking for at the moment, isn't it? They've 3 clear and obvious things they're looking for: offsides, isn't it? Like red cards and penalties.
Yep.
So I think it needs to stick to that, and maybe over time you could build in 1 or 2 areas that are weak. But if you start going for corners and throw-ins and everything, you ruin the game. Like,
but part of the problem with the overarching thing of this is the fact that football is just so much of a business, and I bet it's one of the reasons why this has been brought in. It's the same reason the whole goal line technology got brought in, was because people are losing money with these decisions. Like, if you're Sheikh Mansour and you're Man City, you're going to want VAR because you want every single decision to go your way. Instead of if in case like Man U get like an offside goal and you draw one.
On our earlier point though, does not increase the chance of an upset, meaning that it's more likely that Man City will drop more points throughout the year.
But they would think, if you're like a top team, they would think that the only way these wee teams are going to beat me is by a bit of luck, something like that. Look. Yeah, so they want to know that they're going to get absolutely every single thing right, so that they have the optimum chance to make a shitload of cash. And it's the same way, like I keep going back to NFL and ice hockey and all that, but there's so much money in the NFL that they have that, so these games are perfect. Because they have to be perfect, because it's all about stats and stuff, and they're trying to make football that way, and I hate that.
They really are trying to make it. I mean, you hear so many pundits just being
expected goal stuff that came in last season, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I was at the baseball on Saturday, and I couldn't understand like most of the stats on the screen.
They're pointless. Even assist stats to a degree are pretty pointless.
And they're flashing up non-stop. Like, there's one that kept flashing up every time the ball was like skewed out by accident into the crowd. It had the exit miles per hour. It's like, why is that even relevant? Like, I don't want to know if the ball's hit me at 74 miles an hour in the face. One girl sitting in the dugout got cracked in the face.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
Sounds alright, I'm sure. Pay attention when you're near the dugout.
But the problem with these ones is they have to have something to talk about, like, for these things. Like, if you talk to anyone about a North American sport, it's all about these stats. It's all about, they'll go, they'll start talking to you about, what was the guy, DeMarcus Cousins has just got into Golden State. They're like, here's all these stats for the year. I'm like, how many points does he score? Tell me how many points he scores, and then leave me alone.
We'll say that we will do a North American sports episode, a European perspective on North American sports.
Well, that most of them are bullshit except ice hockey.
Yeah, I mean, we'll try and expand that to an hour, but if we can get more than one.
Don't have me on that week.
Yeah. Right, but so I mean, that's quickly. I don't know. I don't have too many positives for VAR other than the overwhelming fact that for sure there's more correct decisions.
Yeah.
There is like unarguably more correct decisions, and I also have way less shot pulling at corners, which has been previously discussed.
Well,
but I did put on Instagram. I put a poll up and was like, are people for or against VAR? 68% of people for VAR.
I think I'm for it, but I'm for it if it's used correctly. And an example that I would use that is a big positive was the Germany South Korea game.
For the South Korea goal, where there's 5 minutes left, 5 minutes of injury time left at that stage. The flag goes up for offside, and then they check it. Now, I didn't see it live hitting Tony Kroos's foot, but it did. The ref didn't see it.
Yeah, and
goes to VAR. Now, let's say Germany go down the other end and score, and they win 1-0, and Mexico get knocked out of the World Cup because of it.
Yeah. So is it more that it shouldn't be getting used at the World Cup when it's not even in use in like the Premier League, La Liga? It's
completely.
And this is the problem. A poll at that is with people. Now think about how many people watch the World Cup. how many people watch Livingston play East Fife or watch the Premier League or the Championship or whatever you want to talk about? Because VAR is going to come to all those. Well, VAR won't come. VAR will come to the big. Not maybe East Fife.
Yeah,
but
maybe not East Fife.
No, but VAR, like, you know, these leagues are now rich enough. Even like the SPFL, maybe First Division.
How far does it filter? How far does it filter?
And
down
they're
though?
not the ones that are going to have to deal. We're like us football fans who watch this stuff constantly are the ones that are going to have to deal with this complete change, and that's what I fucking don't like.
Are you saying the people on my Instagram don't know what they're talking about?
No, I'm saying like how like.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
How many? Who have you got voting on it? Like, I don't know.
I'll tell you how many people.
Yeah, but tell me who. Now tell me, like, do you know what I mean?
Names.
Yeah. Like, how far does that filter down the league? So this is what, like, does it go to conference?
Well, we've spoken about this before because I don't know. I cannot find for the life of me how much it would cost anywhere from any source.
I don't think it will cost more, because all it is just camera. It's camera replays and a little microphone.
It's a separate TV truck and stuff though.
Yeah, think about sticking that technology in some of the worst grounds in like English football. Think about it, like
Barnett's
but
ground.
if you've
Panorama Conference stuff.
yeah, no, that's probably a bit. But like, if you're playing in the playoff final Championship, that game's worth 125 million
And
quid.
that's where.
Sure.
Boom, that's a no-brainer.
VAR is in that game, but then where does it stop? And that's
Especially because the Championship and League 1 and League 2 are all the same organisation. They're all the Football League.
So they could fund it, like,
Yeah.
Honestly, it's going to be in European football because I think UEFA are big fans of it.
Yep.
So that'll come in. So it'll be in it'll be on all the European qualifiers probably coming up as well. It will definitely be in the Premier League eventually.
Yeah.
Like Germany are talking about having it. Spain are talking. Well, in fact, Spain don't even have the goaling technology. They're kind of in the dark ages, aren't they?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
never mind
It's the
Spain. But most of the big ones
traditionalism.
are talking about having it, and it's going to make a difference.
It'll come, but yeah, I don't think it should be at the World Cup when
It shouldn't be
they
the
haven't figured out all the kinks and
It
stuff.
shouldn't be the test. Like the biggest competition, it comes around every 4 years, and you're testing your software there. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I totally agree. Any final words on it? That's us just over an hour.
I just hope they ditch it, but I know they won't. So there's nothing I can really do.
Overall, I'm surprisingly impressed with it in the World Cup. Like, I think, but that's probably, you know, it's been so scrutinised that they have to get it right first time. I think it needs to be like well controlled though. I think if it starts going to stupid things, as we said, you kind of take out all the fun out of football.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And any controversy. You want a bit of controversy in football, and you start taking that out, like, it becomes boring sport.
So, in summary, we like VAR. It just has to get better, but we don't want the game to be perfect.
Better and faster.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, you can't be taking 4 or 5 minutes per incident. You just can't be doing that. So they need to get better at it, 100%.
Yeah, if they're going to keep it needs to be quicker. It needs to keep the game flowing, and they can't do all that nonsense that they've been doing, like with the stopping games when people are attacking.
We need to know why they're reviewing something, and what they're talking about when they're reviewing it. Not like, what is he even reviewing here? Oh, it is a penalty. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, how can they, like, it wouldn't cost that much. Every football match that we watch is televised. Like, every football match around the major leagues, they're all televised. How much does it cost to get them mic'd up, communicate?
To spend 10 seconds turning around and going penalty, player was tripped, the player was tripped, no card or something like that. Like, that's all they need to say, and then instead of running, jogging up for another 30 seconds up the pitch, like,
yeah, 100%. So, in conclusion, if we've learned anything today, it's that you two are dirty cheating bastards.
And my mum hates the Colombians.
We'll end on that.